Welcome back, deep divers. Today, we're diving into RoleCatcher. I've got to say, this platform, it's like almost like having a secret weapon for your job hunt.
Yeah, it seems like you're thinking about a career change, huh? Which is always exciting.
Yeah?
And you've definitely done your research. You've flagged some really interesting stuff on RoleCatcher.
It's way more than just your average job board, that's for sure. Like,
Okay.
you know how you get bombarded with all this career advice all the time? It feels different with RoleCatcher, almost like they took all the annoying parts of job searching and said, okay, we gotcha.
Exactly. Think about it. Endless scrolling on those job boards, right? And then you're tweaking your resume for every single application and then feeling totally unprepared for interviews. RoleCatcher pulls jobs from a bunch boards, even their own, so you're not wasting time checking the same listings over and over. But the really cool part is how their AI helps you tailor your resume. Like, it analyzes the job description and helps you highlight the right stuff. They even let you save different versions of your resume so you're good to go for future applications.
It's like having a personal resume writer available 24/7, right? And the best
Yeah.
part doesn't even stop there, right? What about those nail-biting interviews? Rollcatcher seems to have a solution for that too.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So they have this massive, and I mean massive, bank of interview questions, like over 120,000, something like that. It's crazy. But here's the kicker. Their AI, they call it RoleCatcher Copilot. It actually gives you feedback on your answers. So imagine you're practicing your responses and you're getting personalized tips, like on the spot, to improve how you're delivering those answers.
That's wild. Okay, so Rollcatcher Copilot. This all sounds amazing, but is there a catch? Like, what's the pricing structure look like?
It really does sound like a dream, right? Like something out of a movie for job seekers. But it's real. They use this freemium model. So the free version gives you access to the job board, which aggregates everything. And then you get basic resume analysis and a good chunk of those interview prep resources. And if you want to, really level up, there's RoleCatcher Copilot, which basically removes all the ads and then unlocks the full power of their AI, like those interview feedback features.
So it's like you can test drive it before you commit. I like that. Okay, let's get into some specifics. So in the materials you shared, there's this one career path that really caught my eye, and it was the, wait for it, letter measuring operator. Definitely not your typical 9 to 5, right?
Not even close. That one got me too.
Yeah.
It just shows how RoleCatcher can help you, open your eyes to opportunities you wouldn't even think about.
Okay, so for those of us, and I'm including myself here, picturing someone with like a ruler and a big old roll of leather, what does a leather measuring operator actually do?
Okay, picture this. You're in this bustling factory, right? And the air is just filled with this like amazing aroma of tanned leather. There are these massive rolls of leather everywhere, and it's your job to make sure those rolls are measured perfectly, like with absolute precision.
And this is where it gets really interesting to me. Why is that level of precision so important? It's not like they're selling this leather by the centimeter at a craft store.
You'd be surprised, actually.
Yeah.
That precision, it's directly tied to invoicing. Like even a small mistake in measurement, it can have a huge impact on the finances of the companies buying and selling this leather. It's valuable stuff.
Wow. So it's this high stakes job disguised as something that seems so simple. This is great. Tell me more about what they do.
So leather measuring operators, or LMOs for short, they use this specialized equipment to figure out the exact surface area of each hide. They're the ones making sure the machines are calibrated right, to make sure the measurements are accurate, and then of course they keep track of it all really meticulously. It's a job for someone who's got a great eye for detail, they're good with their hands, and of course probably don't mind the smell of leather.
Now I'm starting to see the appeal for sure. It's a very specific job, but obviously super important to the whole industry. But what about, moving up? Is it a dead end job or can you actually like climb the leather measuring ladder?
That's what surprised me, honestly. The career path for an LMO, it's surprisingly detailed. So you might start off with the hands-on measuring, assisting the more experienced operators. But once you get good, once you have the experience, there's definitely room to grow. You can move into more senior roles.
So you start with that hands-on experience, right? What's next for our up and coming leather measuring operator?
Well, as you get better, more experience under your belt, you might end up training those new recruits, the ones just starting out. And then you might move into quality control, making sure everything's being done right. You could even work with other departments, like the folks who plan production or even purchasing. Pretty cool, actually. You could even end up in management leading a whole team of LMOs.
Wow. See, that's a career path I never would have guessed. It's interesting how even in like a very specific field, there's still so much room to grow. Okay, so let's say someone's listening to this and they're thinking, all right, I'm sold. Where do I sign up? This is where RoleCatcher comes in, right?
100%.
Yeah.
So imagine this. Our listener, they log into RoleCatcher and they go straight to the job board, which, remember, pulls from all those different sites. They type in leather measuring operator. Maybe they get specific, narrowed down by location, and bam, a whole list of openings pops up.
Hey,
Saves them so much time they don't have to go to each site individually.
talk about making things easy. Okay,
Yeah.
so they find a listing, something that catches their eye, then what?
This is where the AI, that AI magic, it really comes in handy. It's like having like a little assistant who goes through each job description, picks out the important stuff, like skills and qualifications, and then just highlights it all for you. Might be things like attention to detail, or maybe experience with calibration, even knowledge of leather types.
So it's basically a cheat sheet for what the employers are really looking for in a candidate. But what if our listener is looking at this list and they're like, uh-oh, I don't have all that? Let's say calibration experience is missing. Does RoleCatcher just leave them hanging?
No way. RoleCatcher, it takes those, let's call them areas for growth, and turns them into like actual opportunities. Remember that little assistant we were talking about? It doesn't just point out what's missing. It actually recommends stuff, like courses or workshops, maybe even some online tutorials, all about calibration. Everything geared towards helping our listener fill that gap in their skill set.
So now they're not just applying for jobs, they're actually becoming better candidates, like
Yeah.
having a personal career coach in their back pocket, right?
Exactly. That's the beauty of RoleCatcher. It gives people the power to take control, own their career development, and come out ahead of the game.
I've got to say, this whole deep dive into, leather measuring operators, it's been eye-opening. It's amazing how something that seems so straightforward actually has so many layers, like the precision involved, the leadership aspect. It just goes to show having a tool like RoleCatcher to guide you through it all, that's invaluable. It's like RoleCatcher just kind of takes away all the guesswork of finding and actually landing your next job.
And not just any job, the right job. This whole deep dive, it really shows how RoleCatcher helps you find those hidden opportunities, those career paths you might never even know existed.
Right. Like it's not just, about measuring leather. It's about being open to all the possibilities out there and
Right.
then actually having the tools, the resources to go after them strategically.
Exactly. That's the whole point. RoleCatcher basically lets you like design your own career path.
Yeah.
You're in control. You get to decide what you want to do, and then you can use RoleCatcher to make it happen.
So if you're listening to this and feeling, like you're stuck or just not sure what you want to do next, remember the leather measuring operator. Proof that there are some really cool, fulfilling jobs out there. And you might not even know they exist until you look.
Don't be scared to try something new, something unexpected. You might be surprised at what you find.
Exactly. And hey, who knows? Maybe with RoleCatcher, you'll discover a hidden talent for measuring leather, or maybe even something, even cooler.
The possibilities are endless, right?
This has been awesome, a great deep dive, and it just goes to show, what they say, knowledge is power, especially when it comes to your career. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Until next time, happy job hunting.